I'm going to show you how to make some Italian bread. And what you'll need is some white sugar, some canola or vegetable oil, some flour, some yeast, an egg, and some warm water. And what we need 2¼ cups of warm water, and then we're going to pour that into the bowl. And then we're going to add 1½ teaspoons of yeast, and with measuring this stuff out, you want it to be as flat as possible. And there's 1. And we need to add another ½ teaspoon. In there. And then we're going to stir the yeast until it's dissolved. And then when the yeast is dissolved in the water, it should look something like this. And for our next step, we are going to add some of the flour. And we need 6 to 7 cups of flour. And it depends on the brand of flour that you're using. So I'm going to start with 6 cups of water. And then we need to add some of the flour to the mixture. That's out. And then I'm going to use some of the almond flour. And then once again, with measuring stuff out, you want it to be as flat as possible. Okay, and there's 2 cups of flour right there. And we're going to pour that in. And then we're going to add another 2 cups of flour, which will be a total of 4 cups. And if the flour is a little clumpy, then that's okay. And there's another 2 cups. Then we're going to pour that in. And then we're going to mix that in together. And with mixing stuff up, you want it to be as mixed up as possible. When some of the flour is mixed into it, then it should look something like this. Alright, and then for the next step, we are going to add the sugar. And then we need 2¼ tablespoons of white sugar. That's 1. That's 2. And then we need to add another ¼ tablespoon. Okay, and then we need to add an egg, and then to crack this open, we're going to tap it on the side, so then there's a little crack in there like that, and then we peel it open like that, in there, and we're going to take a whisk, and if you want to, you can use a fork instead. I'm going to use a fork, and then you can just go like this. And then it should look something like that. And then we're going to pour that in. And then we're going to add 2¼ tablespoons of the vegetable or canola oil. I'm going to be using canola oil. That's one. That's two. And another quarter of it. There. Oh. Now it's supposed to happen. Alright. And then after that, we're going to use the coffee beaters and then mix that together until it's smooth. Alright, and then once it's all mixed together, it should look something like this. And if you're using almond flour or coconut flour like what I'm using, it should look something like that. Add the rest of the flour. And I still need to add 2 cups of flour. And with the flour, you can use any type of flour that you want. Okay, and it should look something like that. Well, no, wait, it's a little less than that. Alright, there. Should look like that. And we're going to add that. And then we're going to mix that in there with our hands, like this. Alright, and then once it's all mixed up together, it should look something like this. And then we're going to knead this with our hands like this for about 8 to 10 minutes. Alright, and then for the bread pan part, we need the oven preheated at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And then we also need a bread pan. And it should look something like this. And then we're going to spray the pan first with this stuff. And then we are spraying it so this bread stuff doesn't stick to the pan. And then we're going to put this into the bread pan. And then we make sure that it's as flat as you can get it. There. Alright. And then with this, I like recommend that you like don't fill it any more than halfway full because it is going to rise some. And then like a coconut flour and almond flour cooks a little bit differently, so the time that you have in the oven would fluctuate a little bit. Alright. And then you bake it in the oven until it's golden brown. After the bread is done baking in the oven, it should look something like this.